all-new Honda Civic, now available with Turbo, the 2016 North American Car of the Year.
Welcome to Rogers Center. We are inside for this wonderful Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day to all you moms out there. We're glad you're with us. Hope you're having a great day. You can see the Dodgers. They're wearing their road grays, but they have the pink in acknowledgement of the Breast Cancer Awareness Day here today. Dave Robertson, his first year as the manager of the Dodgers. The Dodgers won the game yesterday afternoon behind the fine pitching effort of Clayton Kershaw. Chase Utley topped the order. He's faced Marco Estrada in the past. He's hitting .600 against the Blue Jays starter. Then down in the order, in the fourth spot, Adrian Gonzalez. He's got a 4-game hit streak, and overall on the road, Gonzalez is hitting .412 this year. He's hit great away from Dodger Stadium. This year, they will take on the right-hander Marco Estrada, who grew up in Southern California as a Dodger fan.
32-year-old right-hander's making his 6th start of the season. Began the season on the disabled list after suffering some back tightness early in the spring. He last faced the Dodgers in 2014 as a member of the Milwaukee Brewers, his only career start back in August of 2011. He held the Dodgers to 1 run over 5 innings. Last time out for Marco, he did not factor in the decision, but he went 6 innings, giving up just 1 earned run, gave up a leadoff homer to Rougned Odor, but then settled in nicely, going 6 innings. Look for a lot of that again from Marco today, an effective changeup against a predominantly left-handed hitting lineup.
The Blue Jays defensively behind Marco Estrada, who's sporting some pretty fancy kicks today. In the outfield, it's Michael Saunders. Kevin Pillar made another highlight reel catch in yesterday's game. Jose Bautista with 2 assists is in right field. Donaldson and Tulowitzki, they man the left side. Owens and Smoker on the right side, and Russell Martin back behind the plate. Josh Thole was the catcher yesterday. He and Estrada will try to neutralize these Dodger bats today.
Well, Russell got that day off and enjoyed it. He's back behind the plate today for Estrada, and they're still trying to get this relationship together. Talked to Marco the other day, and he didn't pitch to Russell a lot in spring training, so this is just a work in progress. He feels that they're getting closer and closer, and when you can get that pitcher and catcher on the same page as Marco did last year with Deoner Navarro behind the plate, that's what he's aiming for.
So Chase Utley, we mentioned his great numbers against Marco Estrada. He's 6 for 10 against the Blue Jays righty. Estrada is set, and here's the first pitch of the ball game. It is in there for a strike, and we are underway. Utley batting .338 on the road. He's got 5 doubles, 2 triples away from Dodger Stadium. Seems like a lot of these Dodger hitters are hitting much better on the road so far this season. Ground ball, Goins from the outfield. 1 down. Marco Estrada, as I mentioned, grew up in Southern California. He was a Dodger fan. He said, I can remember as a little kid taking my radio into bed, listening to Vin Scully announce the Dodger games and fall asleep with that great voice in my ear.
That's pretty special as a youngster, and then you become a major leaguer pitched against these same LA Dodgers.
Kevin Pillar, of course, a big Dodger fan growing up as well. This is Corey Seager, fine young shortstop for LA. Marco Estrada pounds that strike zone with another fastball. Seager is 2 for 7 in this series so far. Off the end of the bat. No problem for Estrada. 2 up, 2 down. Marco Estrada is not overpowering, but man, can he pitch. He really understands how to neutralize the bats.
Well, he does such a good job keeping hitters off balance, and you see that 1.06 whip amongst some very big names there around baseball in the American League. And the one thing he does is he limits opponents' batting average. A lot of soft contact. We've seen 2 already here, the first 2 batters of the game. Still say his changeup is his best pitch, but he has the ability to throw all of his pitches in any count. Makes it very difficult on hitters.
Justin Turner, the 3rd baseman, hit his first home run of the season in this series. 3 for 8 in this series. He scored a couple of runs, hit that homer. That's the only RBI he's had.
Nice first pitch curveball right there. It's a nice way to steal a strike early in the count. Not too many hitters looking for that pitch when they walk into the batter's box.
It's a great point because hitters go up there looking for a good pitch to hit, but they're not going to swing at a first pitch curveball.
Especially in that 77-mile-per-hour range. That's not what you're looking for. First pitch, you may have to battle with 2 strikes, but you're looking for the fastball early.
Fastball popped up. Bautista over toward the foul line. He gets there. Just 8 pitches, and Marco Estrada retires the Dodgers in order. When we come back, the top of the order will take on Ross Stripling, the rookie righty. Mother's Day, and the Blue Jays, like the Dodgers, wearing their pink to acknowledge the Breast Awareness Day, Breast Cancer Awareness Day here in the stadium. Let's take a look at the lineup for the Blue Jays. They are at 516-16, third in the AL East. But when Encarnacion over his last 5 games has been swinging a mighty bat, a .350 average with 5 extra base hits and a home run. He's driven in 8 over that time. Kevin Pillar's had a good homestand, 9 for 23. And including a dramatic 3-run home run off of Joe Blanton on Friday night. That adds to his 6 RBIs during the homestand.
26-year-old rookie Ross Stripling making just his 6th start of his young career. He missed all of the 2014 season and part of last year due to Tommy John surgery, of course facing the Blue Jays for the first time. Last time out against the Padres, he could not get through the 5th inning, gave up 5 runs.
Stripling went to spring training with the Dodgers, wondering if he was even on their radar, and here he is in the starting rotation. Michael Saunders will lead things off for the Blue Jays. Saunders has been doing a good job hitting top of the order for John Gibbons. Takes the first pitch outside. Saunders for the season, a .290 average. He's got 9 doubles to go along with those 4 home runs. Stripling's been gaining more confidence with his slider.
Pretty good breaking ball right there, especially behind in the count. That tells me right away he's very comfortable with that pitch. That's something the Blue Jays hitters may be looking for.
Fastball right on the corner. Stripling had a very interesting major league debut. He no-hit the Dodgers into the 8th inning, but was taken out of the game. There's a slider for a strikeout. 1 down. Let's take a look at the Dodgers defense behind Ross Stripling here this afternoon in the outfield. Paul Crawford is in left. Jock Peterson center. Trace Thompson. First time we've seen Thompson in this series. He starts in right. Turner, Seager, Utley, and Kendrick. Howie Kendrick playing at first base, and behind the plate, Yasmani Grandal starts for the 2nd time in this series.
Howie Kendrick getting the start at first base today. It's just his first start over there this season. ADRIAN Gonzalez would be Dave Roberts' designated hitter. In his 11-year career, it's just his 65th start over at the first base bag.
Josh Donaldson. You see all of these different pink articles, the bats, the gloves, the wristbands. All of those will be put up for auction on MLB.com. And those funds raised will go to the breast cancer awareness program. The umpire, that's a beautiful mask. Clayton Kershaw, what a job he did yesterday. Another 10 strikeout game for Kershaw, his 4th consecutive 10 strikeout game. Joe, when you played ball, you'd have been laughed out of the clubhouse. You wore pink shoes.
How times have changed. It's really funny looking at Chad Fairchild behind the dish there. That pink mask really stands out with the black shirt.
Breaking ball in the dirt. 3-1 to Donaldson. Bautista is on deck. Blue Jays won 5-2 on the opener Friday night. Lost 6-2 to Clayton Kershaw yesterday. They'll try to win this series, and it'll be a very productive homestand. Took 3 of 4 from the Texas Rangers. Pulled, fair ball. Turner, long throw, plenty of time. 2 down.
Well, Ross Stripling will just average about 91 miles per hour with that fastball and throw it just over half the time. Curveball, slider, and changeup. We haven't seen the changeup just yet. We won't see a lot of them. One thing he has done is increase that slider usage, and we're going to watch for that today. But the problem is sometimes he gets that slider trying to get hitters to chase, and they're not chasing as much. So after that hot start, first couple of starts of his young career here, it has not gone as well in his last couple. So we'll keep an eye on that and see if the Blue Jays hitters can keep that slider in the strike zone if they attack it.
Nobody aboard for Jose Bautista. He looks at a breaking ball down and away.
That curveball will be about 77 miles per hour. It's really a slower over-the-top curveball. Josh looking back at the umpire, I think.
No, he was talking about Bautista, saying it was a 3-1 slider he threw me. So that's why Bautista got some advice from Donaldson after Donaldson had faced Stripling. Remember, the Blue Jays haven't seen Ross Stripling, so he said, hey, he threw me a 3-1 slider, so be looking for that.
They will share information like that, not just in the dugout. That's on the way back to the dugout. Jose entering the batter's box.
2.
With 2 strikes, the Dodgers straighten up their shift now, and Donaldson picking up on that as well. Utley back on the first base side of second. Now he continues to make adjustments. There's a breaking ball. That's a curve.
And they will do that based on the pitch selection too, but at the same time they can't tip it off. So if he does see an off-speed pitch, you may see Utley shade the middle a little bit more just to guard against him being ahead of the off-speed.
Bautista chases that high fastball. Good start for Ross Stripling. 3 up, 3 down. We played an inning. It's scoreless at Rogers Center.
Welcome back to Rogers Center. Pink is the new black, at least for one day across Major League Baseball, as we celebrate moms everywhere. And Mother's Day is the perfect day to bring attention to breast cancer awareness and the need for more funding research. Now, the idea was adopted back in 2006 when Louisville Sluggers saw NHL players using pink hockey sticks. Today across baseball, as Buck mentioned, you'll see pink bats, wristbands, lineup cards, funky-looking shoes, and other equipment. Now, it's also an extra special day for pitcher Jay Happ, whose mother Susan threw out the ceremonial first pitch. Happ told me Susan has been nervous. In fact, Jay's dad has been working with her in the family backyard, tossing that baseball all week long, Buck.
Yeah, no matter what, moms are very, very particular, and they wanted to make Jay proud of that throw today. Jay's off to a great start. Glad to have his mom and dad here. His father Jim's here with his mom Susan. Adrian Gonzalez will lead things off for the Dodgers. Takes the first pitch strike. Gonzalez has got a 4-game hit streak. He's driven in a pair. He's 6 for 17 during those 4 games. He's really had remarkable splits early in the season. He's hitting .412 on the road, just 93 at home at Dodger Stadium. I know it's a tough hitter's ballpark, but he shouldn't be hitting 93.
And I think he's too good a hitter for that. I think we'll see those numbers change anytime you're just barely a little over a month through the season. Pretty small time frame, and I'm sure those will level out.
2-1 to the DH. Gonzalez DHing today against Marco Estrada.
Another left-hander here in this Dodgers lineup. We'll keep an eye on this changeup usage. We'll see a lot of them against this lefty-heavy lineup. That's the cutter down and in. Marco will use the cutter to both sides of the plate. He'll go down and in there or try to run it in on the hands of the left-handed batter. What he also likes to do is backdoor it, start it off the plate away, and come back and try to catch that outer third.
Hard hit ball. Goins is in the outfield. He has time, and there's where the ship takes one away. One down.
This Blue Jays Rogers 4K broadcast is powered by the Samsung 4K SUHD TV.
Great day at Rogers Center. It's Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day to all you moms out there. And the Blue Jays done a terrific job of dressing up this ballpark. There is pink everywhere, including pink bunting on the WestJet flight deck center field. The scoreboard, the line scores are all highlighted in pink as well. YASMANI GRANDAL, the catcher, waves at that changeup, Joe. There's what you're talking about. Here's the pink bunting. That's gorgeous. And all the fans out there having a good afternoon here. Scoreboards are decked out in pink as well. Marco Estrada pitched in Southern California in high school. Then he went to a junior college and was a college teammate of Fernando Valenzuela's son. The ground ball. Goins from the outfield. 2 ground ball outs here in the second. Of course, Fernando Valenzuela was the Dodger lefty that created Fernando Mania in '81 with the Dodgers. Came up from Mexico like Estrada. And Marco said he got to play with Fernando's son in junior college. And of course, Fernando was around a lot, so he got to meet the great Dodger pitcher. Two outs for the first baseman, Howie Kendrick. He goes after the first pitch. Fouls it into the seats along the right side.
Estrada works from the first base side of the rubber, and that's just a personal preference for him. It allows him to get to that glove side of the plate a little more effectively, and that glove side for him is away to right-handed batters. Most pitching coaches, most pitchers will tell you that's the part of the zone that you have to own. You have to be consistently good over there. Every other pitch works off of that. Marco slides over to that first base side to dominate the outside. Here he comes again.
Bounced it on the plate, and it's a 1-2 count to Howie Kendrick. Kendrick began his career with the Los Angeles Angels. re-signed a 2-year contract as a free agent with the Dodgers. Kendrick has been a terrific hitter his entire career. Line drive hitter, not known for power. Hits the ball up the alley in right center. He can't hold back on the changeup. Marco Estrada. 6 up, 6 down. The changeup does the trick to close out the Dodgers in the second. Howie Kendrick strikes out on another terrific changeup from Marco Estrada.
Auction presented by TD will take place during Sportsnet's national broadcast of the Blue Jays and the Tampa Bay Rays on May 18th. 12 unique Blue Jays experiences and packages up for bids. Visit bluejays.com/broadcast auction to see a list of all prizes available. All funds will help Jays Care go beyond the ballpark for over 62,000 children and youth across Canada in 2016.
Thank you very much, Hazel May, Buck Martinez, and Joe Siddle back here at Rogers Center. No scores. The Blue Jays bat bottom of the second. Edmund Encarnacion will lead things off. Ross Stripling making his first start against the Blue Jays. He is in his first season, a draft pick of the Dodgers in 2012. Stripling was drafted out of Texas A&M. We mentioned his no-hitter into the 8th inning in his major league debut against the Giants. He also threw a no-hitter in college. He's not overpowering, Joe, but he does lean heavily on those 2 breaking balls.
And I think one complements the other. The curveball is much slower, and it seems like he can keep it in the zone a little bit more. The slider is going to be a little harder, 86, 87 miles per hour, and that's the one he's having trouble keeping in the zone. That's right where he wants that slider to be. Started around the middle of the plate outer half and have it go to the outer edge. That's where you'll get the swings. If you start it on the outer edge and it takes off way away, hitters can lay off.
Two balls and 2 strikes to Encarnacion.
Going to try to elevate a fastball here.
That's how they got Bautista. They threw that fastball up and away after throwing him the breaking balls down and in. There's the red hot Justin Smoke. Set a good homestand.
You get a hitter looking down in the zone soft with those breaking pitches, then elevate, now go back down to it.
Well, that one right off the catcher's mask. Yasmani Grandal started on Friday night. Yesterday was A.J. Ellis behind the plate. They have started both 14 games, so they have split it right down the middle.
A.J. Ellis, of course, the personal catcher for Clayton Kershaw, did a fine job again yesterday. You almost have to play a perfect game against Kershaw when he's on the mound.
Fly ball to left field. Carl Crawford back near the scoreboard on the track, and he makes the catch. and got everybody excited, but it got in a little bit on Encarnacion. Take a look at Ross Stripling and what he features.
Well, a great start to his young career, and you talked about the no-hitter in his debut. Just a fantastic first couple of starts. The last three not so good, and it's one thing you break into the major leagues and you're surprising a lot of people, but then the video gets out, the scouting reports get out, and it's a combination of hitters being a little bit more informed, but also he just hasn't been as sharp in a lot of these pitches we're talking about, and we'll see how that pans out today against this Blue Jays offense who has not seen him.
His first start was at San Francisco against the Giants, and he pitched at Dodger Stadium against the Diamondbacks. This is Justin Smoak, 9 for 22 on this homestand. Of course, Tuesday he had the terrific game against Texas, a game-tying home run in the 9th and a game winner in the 10th. At the top of the zone.
It's very early in this ball game. You can see already Stripling is pitching. He is really attacking the zone, changing speed. You see that first pitch curveball again to Smoak. Gets that free strike, and then he comes back with the elevated fastball and gets the swing at the top of the zone. So he's really utilizing all those pitches. There's a changeup down and away just to give those left-handers one more thing to think about.
Inside. One thing too, if you throw a breaking ball to a batter in the first pitch, all the hitters have a tendency to really notice what that pitch is. Oh, he's got a good curveball. Then you might not have to throw it for another at bat or two, because the curveball puts pause in the hitter's mind. They are not so aggressive.
The slider is much closer to the fastball in terms of velocity. Hitters can work off of those two pitches, but when you throw in that curveball in the high 70s, they have to honor that and be aware for it. Makes it much more difficult, and he showed it early in that first inning. So as you said, Buck, they're in that Blue Jays third base dugout. They're talking about it. Once you have that in your head, that's a great weapon. You may not need to go to it as much, but it still is in their head.
3-2 pitch, cut on and missed. Pitch away, and that fastball gets the strikeout.
Save during the Lawn and Garden Expert Sale, only at Home Hardware and Home Hardware Building Center. Homeowners helping homeowners with expert advice.
It is Mother's Day, and the moms are getting pampered here at Rogers Center. They have a lot of different stations for the moms to enjoy the afternoon here. Troy Tulowitzki took that slider for a strike. High fastball, foul back, and we see Tulowitzki foul a lot of pitches straight back.
He's just missing pitches, and I continue to see teams work away against Troy. He really has struggled with the ball out over the plate on the outer part of the plate, and we'll see if GRANDAL does it again and just tries to expand that zone away. And when your timing's just not quite right, we have not seen Tulo right yet early this season, and when that timing is not right, you're just missing pitches, and we've seen so much of that from Troy. Going away again.
That curveball missed a little bit high. It's 1-2 now. But you're right, when a hitter is struggling, you're always better to pitch him away, because inside you can run into one. When your timing is off, you can get jammed, you can fight it off, but when your timing is off, I think you're better off to go away. There's a good curveball. He came right back with it and strikes out Tulowitzki for strikeouts through 6 hitters for Stripling.
It's your chance to capture the cup with Sportsnet. Sportsnet is providing fans with the opportunity to win a trip to the Stanley Cup Finals. We're giving away a pair of tickets, including flights and accommodation, inside every series of the Stanley Cup playoffs. The more you watch, the more chances to win. Capture the cup with Sportsnet. Buck.
Thank you very much, Hazel May, and happy Mother's Day to you, Hazel. I know you're all decked out in a pretty outfit today. Top of the third inning, no score. This is Jock Peterson, the young center fielder, throwing a first pitch changeup. Peterson got up to a great start last year and then kind of cooled off. He just turned 25 years old at the end of April. Estrada's one of those pitchers, Joe, that can throw changeups back to back.
Back to back, and he may even throw them back to back to back, which you don't see too often, but it's that good. And Marco, really what he does is he takes his legs out of the equation and he really sells it with the arm speed, and it looks a lot like the fastball, especially rotation wise. Always catching hitters out front. That cutter down in the zone, backed up on him a little bit, but still had good downward movement. It may not cut the way you want to, but if you get some downward movement, you still got a chance to get a miss or even a ground ball.
1-2. Peterson turned 24 on April 21st, not 25. 1-2 pitch. Down low.
I asked Marco the other day about his approach against the Dodgers, an interleague play team that you don't see very often, and he said, I don't even look. I don't want to do my homework on their hitters. I let Russell do his homework with the pitching coaches. I know that if I make my pitches and execute, I get guys out.
He went to the school of Mark Burley.
It's exactly what he said. That's how I was going to follow it up. He said, I learned so much from Burley just to go out into the mound, execute pitches. It just frees your mind up, takes all the pressures off. His biggest advice was not to overthink out there.
What a beautiful changeup. Peterson understands it's coming. Marco Estrada doesn't get the recognition some of the top names in the game get, but look at his first 33 starts with the Blue Jays, what he has done, Joe. Basically, that's a full year of pitching.
Well, it's been excellent, and that batting average will continue to come down. Actually, this year, the lefties have gotten to him a little bit, but he's even said that his changeup isn't quite where it needs to be just yet. That's what he told me just the other day. We've seen some awfully good ones today, but when he continues to hone that pitch, he says, that's when I'm going to have some fun.
Carl Crawford fouls back the fastball. Oh, 0-2. Got to cross him up with the heater and miss downstairs. Isn't it interesting now? The changeup is in Crawford's mind. He almost offered it that fastball up and away.
And that's how Marco gets people at the elevated fastball at 88, 89 miles per hour. It looks 95.
Wouldn't chase that changeup. Trace Thompson playing right field today. He gets the start in this series finale. Strike three called. That fastball down and away. Back-to-back strikeouts for Estrada here in the third.
It's time to convert your big outdoor tasks into short, effortless work. Make the great outdoors even greater with Honda Power Equipment.
It is Mother's Day, and I'd like to say happy Mother's Day to my wife Arlene and my daughter-in-law Jennifer, who are having a great Mother's Day.
My wife Tamara on her way home, spent the weekend here with me. She's home. Happy Mother's Day to my wife and to my mother. Call her Grandma Siddle now because she's a grandma so many times over. I'm sure she's at home in Windsor watching today.
2 outs, number 9 hitter Trace Thompson hits it in the air. Not that deep. Bautista waits for it. 9 up, 9 down for Marco Estrada. No problem against his former favorite team, the LA Dodgers.
Monday salute goes to a mother and daughter team, two very fine members of the Canadian Armed Forces. Leading seaman Tammy Campbell is a 16-year veteran of the Canadian Armed Forces, currently working at CFB Borden. She's also a proud mother of two members of the Canadian Armed Forces. Her son Sean served with the Navy, and joining her today is her daughter, Sergeant Christy Goodfellow, a 13-year veteran of the Canadian Armed Forces, currently serving in Trenton. Christy is a veteran of 3 tours overseas. She's also the proud mother to her son George and is expecting her second child in June. We are very proud to salute all the brave men and women of the Canadian Forces who serve our country every day.
Absolutely, well done, Hazel May. Congratulations to those fine ladies. We move to the bottom of the third. Still no score. Hasn't seen a hit yet in this ball game. Ross Stripling works to Kevin Pillar. Misses with that fastball away. Swing and a drive, left field. Crawford on the move. He's not going to get it. Off the wall. Pillar's headed for second. That's the first hit of the ball game, and naturally it comes off the bat of Kevin Pillar, his 10th hit in this homestand.
Well, that bat continues to heat up, and this is what we talked about in the open. Kevin's been able to handle balls throughout the strike zone, and he's keeping that front side closed, and he's allowing those hands to work inside and much more free in there, and that's how you get the barrel of the bat to this pitch right here. A good path to the baseball. Kevin's just been much more consistent. A little rough start early in the season, but he seems to have that timing back.
Kevin Pillar has 10 hits on this homestand. 7 of those have gone for extra bases. He now has 11 doubles on the season.
See that a little abrasion underneath his right eye. That was from that outstanding highlight reel diving catch last night off the bat of Carl Crawford. Little turf burn.
Russell Martin in the 8th spot. Looking for a pitch away in this situation. Martin still under 200, but is showing signs of breaking out.
Well, Russ had a rough April last season, and he's looking to turn things around right about now, and he's been on his way. A couple big hits recently. He is best when he's thinking right side, and that's what he's got to be thinking right here to try that move that runner over.
I don't know if they called the pitch. They called timeout. You see the home plate umpire Chad Fairchild holding up 1 ball and no strikes because that pitch was delivered after time had been called. Outside, 2-0. Russ Martin playing against his former team, the original team, signing as a professional with the Dodgers in 2002. Made it to the big leagues for the first time in 2006. And he knocked out one of his former teammates to the starting job. Deanna Navarro was the starting catcher when Russell was called up. Navarro suffered a broken hand. That's why they called up Russell Martin from the minor leagues. Russell was inserted into the lineup, got hot, and they would eventually trade Navarro mid-season to the Tampa Bay Rays. And Russell Martin went on to become an all-star and a Gold Glover playing for the Dodgers. Two balls and a strike to the Blue Jays catcher. Ground ball to the right side. Great job by Martin. Very productive at bat in this scoreless game. That'll be a start for Martin. He'll take it. Moves Pillar to third base.
Also did a nice job, a very unselfish at bat. And you know, when you're struggling with your batting average, when you look up at the scoreboard and you still give yourself up, not a great pitch, but he just made sure that he hit it on the ground to the right side to advance Pillar over. Now it's up to Ryan Goins to cash in this first Blue Jays run.
Yeah, when you're going bad at the plate, you just want an opportunity like that to have a good at bat, do something that will help your team. Ryan Goins takes a pitch down and in. Luis Rivera pointing out that Howie Kendrick at first is really close at first, so Pilar is going to have to hold his ground, make sure that ball goes through at the corners. Up the middle, they're back. Pilar's breaking for home. Here's the throw, not in time. What an instinctive base runner. Kevin Pilar got a break. Kendrick had to dive for it, and the Blue Jays take the lead.
Well, we said in the open, Howie Kendrick playing just his first game at first base for the Dodgers this season, and this could be a little bit of inexperience. Kevin Pilar was going on contact. As soon as contact was made with the baseball, Pilar's gone. You have to know that he got a great jump. You have to know that he has great speed. As a first baseman, when you dive for this baseball, there is no play at home. He should have just gotten the out at first. But the Blue Jays and that hustle play by Pilar are on the board early.
Goins picks up his 5th RBI of the season, courtesy of a great job of base running by Kevin Pilar. Russell Martin gets an assist. Now those are some fancy shoes, huh? Woo! I bet you there's a lot of these guys would like to wear those shoes on a regular basis.
Well, and what's funny too is, you know, you get new equipment for a day like this, but it's not what you're accustomed to. You see Kevin taking his shoe off right there. It's probably just not as comfortable as his everyday shoes, but certainly going to wear them today.
Michael Saunders with the check swing foul.
It's really a great example for an offense that has been struggling. We're seeing signs of them coming around lately, but after the leadoff double, you manufacture the run. Russell gets the runner over. Ryan puts the ball in play to score that run, and it's all started with that hustle play. The speed of Kevin Pilar right there really earned the Blue Jays their first run.
1 out. Short hop by Seager to Utley, back to first, not in time. What a nice play by Seager. Utley was so far away from second, he had to take the throw on the run and couldn't get anything on his return throw to first.
Very hard hit ball. Watch how far Utley has to come to the second base bag, and the ball's hit hard, so the ball gets to Seager quickly, and then Seager gets it to Utley almost too quickly before he gets to the bag. But good hustle by Michael Saunders. Utley really didn't get a lot on that throw because of the off balance turn.
Seager's a good-looking young player at short. Josh Donaldson grounded out to third, his first time up. Donaldson getting a second look at Ross Stripling.
It's one thing to get the scouting reports and the data on the pitches they throw, the percentages, what they like to do in certain situations, but getting in the batter's box and seeing the pitches is a whole different ballgame.
Donaldson with the ground out in the first has now gone 3 for 18 on this homestand. Blue Jays offense, one guy will get hot, the other guy will cool off. They haven't all hit on all cylinders just yet.
Saw Pilar heat up, Justin Smoke with a couple big home runs, Russ Martin with a couple big hits. We talked about how it's been somebody different every night. That's a wonderful thing, but the bottom line is you need the meat of your lineup to heat up, and until Donaldson, Bautista, and Edwin start doing it consistently, it's going to be hard to get this offense really firing the way it needs to.
1 and 2, 2 outs. Off the plate. I think the Blue Jays are going to get hot on this road trip. They go into San Francisco, beautiful ballpark, play outdoors for 3 games, then go to Texas. And you know it's going to be hot baseball weather, outdoors, good ballpark to hit in. I expect them to have a good offensive trip on this next 6-game road trip.
It's a good point. Getting to Texas too, feeling pretty confident, taking 3 out of 4 against the Rangers here in this homestand.
2-2 pitch upstairs. It's a full count. With 2 outs, Saunders will be off on the move. Bautista anxious to get to the plate this inning. If he does, there'll be a couple on base. Unless Donaldson hits it out, of course. 3-2. Blue Jays scored a run here in the third. They have a 1-0 lead. There goes Saunders. Fly ball into right. Thompson to his right. He's there, and the inning is over. The Blue Jays score a run. Leadoff double by Kevin Pillar, cashed in by Ryan Goins. 1-0. Here comes the ultimate cleanup crew, brought to you by Home Hardware's exclusive line of the ultimate hard-hitting and tough-on-grime cleaning products.
Celebrating 3 amazing baseball moms. We welcome Sarah Gill from Hamilton, Ontario, here with her sons Dylan and Marshall. Andrea Buma Legacy from Dunlop, New Brunswick, here with her kids Ethan and Sophia. And Wendy Lefevre from Fort McMurray, Alberta, here with her daughters Ella and Sophie. These 3 fine ladies are representing baseball moms from across the country, and they're enjoying a very special weekend getaway to see the Blue Jays from the owner's suite at Rogers Center. How about that, Buck?
Hey, so it's been a great afternoon for these families, and we got to meet them all prior to the game. They were down on the field, and congratulations to all the moms, and to have you and your families here today. Blue Jays did a terrific job of running this contest, bringing these fans in here and the families, and the moms were honored on the field. They got to take pictures. We got to meet them all. It was really, really a great experience for them. And now they're in the owner's box. Of course, I spoke with Wendy Lefevre, who is from Fort McMurray, and obviously a very emotional time for all of those folks out in Alberta. And again, we want to continue to send our best wishes to Fort McStrong. And the Blue Jays Wives organization was collecting money today for the relief efforts out in Alberta, and we want to send our thoughts and prayers to everybody involved out there and to all of the first responders as well. You can make donations at redcross.ca, and Blue Jays have jumped on board. We hope you do too as well. There's a 3-0 strike to Chase Utley. Marco Estrada pitching with a 1-0 lead. Just enough cut on that fastball.
That's just a little cutter running in on the hands of that left-hander, and you say it's just enough, and you can see the defensive swing there by Utley, just not able to get the barrel to the baseball. Now how about a 3-2 changeup right now? That's what it sets up for, because you just sped him up with that fastball on the inner part.
Missed with the fastball. Russell Martin wasn't so sure that missed. That's the first base runner for the Dodgers. Utley with the leadoff walk.
Super Slow-Mo Cam. Brought to you by Rogers 4K TV. Get closer to the action with 4 times the resolution of HD alone.
Corey Seager, the shortstop, batting with Utley at first, nobody out. First pitch changeup. That's not even fair.
Corey Seager has been a first pitch swinger, and all the scouting reports will tell the Blue Jays that. So he is not getting a first pitch fastball. If he is, it's not going to be in the strike zone. So what a perfect setup there for an Estrada changeup, and Seager is chasing.
Seager's 22 years old. And you see the leadoff walk, you say, okay, I'm going to get a first pitch fastball. He's looking for that fastball, and Estrada just wouldn't play along. Pete Walker's very pleased with the way his pitchers have gotten out of the chute, especially the starters. They're off to a great start to their season. Two and one now to the lefty hitting shortstop Corey Seager.
Estrada is a fly ball pitcher, and he really would like to get more ground balls, but he just says a lot of times with my pitches, even when I get hitters out front, they're out front, but they pop it up or hit it to the outfield shallow. It's a lot of soft contact, but he could use one of those ground balls right here.
Marco does a terrific job of pitching down, 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 and then all of a sudden he'll elevate one of those fastballs and he'll get a chase swing.
And that's where you get those pop-ups and routine fly balls. So it's not a bad thing in Marco's case. You know, in last year with the Brewers there, he gave up a league-high home runs, but different case now.
Fastball away. A very weak swing from Corey Seager. 4 strikeouts now for Marco Estrada.
One thing Marco does so well is locate the baseball, and all starts with fastball location. But look where this pitch is. Russell Martin set up out there, and it's just off that outside corner, but he gets the swing. If you're going to miss, you want to miss just off, and that's what Marco does more often than missing on the plate, and really limits the damage.
Justin Turner, he's a first pitch hitter as well. It'll be interesting to see where Estrada goes on this first pitch. Went with the curveball. When you throw a first pitch curveball, Joe, what should your goal be with it?
Really, it's just a first pitch strike. Throw it over the zone and get it in there. Just drop it in there. You want to start that just above the belt and drop it in there. You're not looking for contact. Most hitters are not looking for a first pitch curveball, especially Marco's with the depth that it has. So just flip it in there almost for a strike. And as we said earlier, steal that first pitch strike just to get ahead.
There goes Utley. Tulowitzki at short, bobbles it, goes off his glove. All hands are safe. Utley noticed the runner breaking towards second and got in a rush to try to get Utley at second, and then lost his focus.
Well, I think that's exactly what happened, Buck. Everybody hears and sees that the runner is going on the play, but sometimes when a runner's stealing and the ball's hit really hard, you can still glove it and get that out, the force out at second base. But I think in this case, everybody's yelling he's going. Troy's thinking with it hit as hard as it was, maybe I can still glove this and flip that over to second base very quickly, but just thinking a little ahead of himself.
You see, he was already shifting his weight to his right leg to get ready to make that throw and anticipating catching that ball, and then the ball went off his glove. Third error of the season charged to Tulowitzki. So here's where Estrada's got to pick up his defense. Make a good pitch to a tough hitter. Adrian Gonzalez grounded out to second his first time up. Although that was in the outfield, and it was pulled to Goins, who was in shallow right. So often we talk about pitchers being helped out by great defense. Now is a situation where the pitcher's got to help the defense, who just committed an error to put 2 runners on.
It's a good double play candidate at the plate in Gonzalez if he can get a ground ball.
Russell gave the umpire a good long look. Chad Fairchild behind the plate this afternoon. But you can see pitch number 3 well off the plate. Just a little bit closer.
And that's how good Marco is. He knows he's off, but with a 2-1 pitch, he can't go way out there again to try to induce a swing from Gonzalez. So he brings it back just a bit, just off the edge, but gets the call right there. And we'll see now again, he's gone away with a couple of fastballs. If he goes back to his bread and butter. Yes, he does.
Called strike 3 on the changeup. And Gonzalez is arguing the point, but it looked like a pretty good pitch. He got fooled by the pitch more than the call. You could see his body was anticipating another fastball.
You get a hitter, left-handed hitter, leaning out there. What Marco did the previous 2 fastballs we just talked about, both off the plate away. So now you're leaning, you're diving out there. This changeup was meant to be more away. You see Russell come back to his backhand so that the changeup was actually on the inner part of the plate. But look at that front side go. He just diving out there, but gave up, and it really froze him because he was not looking in that location.
2 outs. YASMANI GRANDAL. Obviously a important at bat. 2-out situation. Martin and Estrada talking things over. Joe, you made the point about they're still trying to get on the same page as far as the game calling.
Yeah, Marco just said this the other day. He said, you know, Russ didn't have me much in spring training at all. Marco was injured the first part of spring, and then not a ton of starts yet here early in his season, but they're still getting in sync. Marco feels like it's getting better with each and every start, but he wants to make sure here in a key situation. Sign sequence with a runner on second base. They'll use numerous signs, and only one will necessarily mean something. They want to disguise that from the runner on second base.
Good pitch. That's where they worked Gonzalez away in his previous at bat.
And I'll tell you what, if Chad Fairchild's going to give him that pitch, a baseball or 2 off that outside corner, you keep going there, and then what he did against Gonzalez, come back with a changeup. But if you're going to get that pitch, pretty hard to square that up as a hitter.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
But I don't anticipate, again, another one out there, or if he does, he goes out there further. But I talk about his bread and butter, but everybody in the ballpark can know he's throwing a changeup right now. Hitters still have a difficult time hitting it because of the deception in his delivery. See if he goes to it one more time.
Changeup for the strikeout. Marco Estrada pitches around a walk and an error. He strikes out Grandal. It'll be Bautista, then Encarnacion and Smoke. The Blue Jays lead it 1-0.
Pizza chairman and owners Jim Treliving and George Melville, who are in attendance today, along with over 400 of their franchisees from across Canada, the U.S., and Mexico. Boston Pizza is a great partner of the Blue Jays, including their sponsorship of the Junior Jays Saturdays program that's helped introduce many Canadian kids to Blue Jays baseball. We welcome Boston Pizza.
Such a big part of what the Blue Jays do, spreading the word of the Blue Jays Junior Jays Saturday. Welcome to all the family and friends of Boston Pizza here in attendance this afternoon on this beautiful Mother's Day. Heck of a game going on. 1-0 Blue Jays lead it as they are set to bat in the bottom of the 4th. Marco Estrada, boy, what a good job he did. He struck out the side in the 4th. He has 6 strikeouts so far. Dodgers got a leadoff walk from Estrada, then the Tulowitzki error with 1 out. So it was 1st and 2nd with 1 out, and he struck out Gonzalez and Grandal to strand those 2 base runs.
No secret, pitcher and catcher sitting right next to each other in that dugout.
Level 4, thank you very much. We'll take a whole tray of those cupcakes up here. So it's the meat of the order for the Blue Jays, the big boys. Jose Bautista, Edwin Encarnacion, and Justin Smoke. Upstairs with that slider, Bautista was taking all the way.
Much like we talked about with Troy Tulowitzki, Jose also scuffling on that ball away, so you continue to see teams go out there. Jose's been a hitter. He's a pull hitter. He gets close to the plate and he can cover the outside part of the plate and still pull with authority to the left side, but he's just been unable to get that untracked here early in the season.
2.
Tripling drops that curveball in there for strike 2.
If they do come inside, usually it's in off the plate just to show, and then they'll go right back out there. Let's see if they try that first or just go ahead and go back out there again. And elevate.
Just a bit high. That's where they struck out Bautista in the first inning. Not quite as high, but they went up and away and got him to swing at it. He wasn't going to chase that one. Coming upstairs again.
And that's just a little too high. If you can get it right around the chest area by the neck, you can get a swing. When you go a little higher than that, then it's never really in the zone where you're going to chase.
3-2 pitch. Breaking ball. Popped up. Utley out. Shallow right. Second baseman makes the catch. Bautista had an idea he might get that breaking ball and popped it up.
They've seen the curveball enough, and I think he was sitting on it 3-2, and he was very frustrated because he missed his pitch.
So Edwin Encarnacion, he flied out deep to left field his first time up. He's had a good stretch over his last 5 games coming into this game. 7 for 20 with 5 extra base hits. Joe is a catcher. You look at the lineup, and obviously you're going to pay attention to Bautista, Encarnacion, and Smoke, middle of the order. Teams really try to put together a good approach to these guys because there's where most of the damage lies. Of course, you're going to focus on Donaldson as well, the reigning MVP, but you look at the big bats in this order, that's where you do most of your homework.
Well, you have to, and if you can keep those guys down and make the 6, 7, 8, 9 say beat you, then not that you can take it, but it makes the job a little bit easier. You always try to hold down the big boys, and that's one thing the Blue Jays did last year so well. 6 through 9 produced a lot and set the table, turned that lineup over for the big boys that would drive them in.
Stripling's got a good curveball today.
It's a very good curveball, and again, you go back to what Bautista did right there. They've seen it enough now that they know he likes to throw it in any count.
The reason that high fastball is effective when he gets it close is because it looks like the same angle as that curveball.
Coming out of that same slot. Talked about that with Kershaw yesterday. His 3 quality pitches all coming from that same area out of his hand.
Encarnacion, he was looking breaking ball there and got a slider and fouled it back. Little frustration from Edwin there. He said, I had that all set up and I just let him off the hook.
And good hitters will do this a lot. They'll look for a pitch. It's hard to do with 2 strikes, but earlier in the count you can look for a pitch. And that's why when you see them hit it a ton, sometimes they're looking for it and they get what they're looking for.
He went around, chased that breaking ball in the dirt. The curveball gets another strikeout for Stripling. He has 5 strikeouts now.
Well, you talk about that elevated fastball to set up the curveball, and we've seen plenty of them. It's almost like a knuckle curveball, that index finger. Edwin just cannot hold up.
Another fastball upper part of the strike zone. Smoke swings and misses. Justin struck out his first time up. one of the 5 strikeouts Stripling has recorded so far. That's a legitimate 12-6 curveball.
Well,
right
you can
there.
certainly see the stuff from Stripling. It's a big over-the-top curveball, and again, the fastball is not overpowering, but it does not need to be when you have a secondary pitch like that. Then you'll mix in this slider as well.
High pop on the fastball. That's going to reach the seats from out of play. Describe how we got to a 12-6 curveball. What's that description reflect?
12 on the clock, and it goes right down to the 6 on the clock. It's straight over top. Joe Biagini has a similar curveball for the Blue Jays. We've seen that. It's really over the top. Clayton Kershaw's was fairly 12-6. We saw that yesterday. You don't see a lot of them, and the difficult part of that pitch is it's tough to keep it in the strike zone because there's so much depth to it. But we've seen today Stripling, he's got that pitch, and again, hitters thinking about it. Then you get away with that 91-mile-per-hour fastball.
Smoke strikes out. Pair of strikeouts for Stripling here as the 3, 4, 5 go down in order. We'll go to the 5th. The Blue Jays have a 1-0 lead. Now time for a Blue Jays Central update. Here's Jamie Campbell and Greg Zahn from the Samsung broadcast studio.
Join the big leagues and check out the Blue Jays Acura Luxury Suites for a business meeting and a baseball game. Call our account executives and find the package that best suits your needs. 416-341-1635 or bluejays.com/luxury suites. And Buck, if I could add my happy Mother's Day wishes to my mom, Estrelita, who's watching right now.
Very, very good. Thank you very much, Hazel. A happy Mother's Day to all of you out there. If you're just joining us, we're thrilled to have you with us alongside on this beautiful Sunday afternoon. Howie Kendrick hits it to Goins. It comes up on him, but he's got the strong arm. He stays with it. Throws him out. Joe, we have seen the Blue Jays infielders have a little trouble with this dirt portion of this infield.
I think what's happening here is with the new clay in the infield, and I've talked to all of the individual infielders at times, and sometimes the ball going from the artificial turf a couple of hops onto the clay, they're unsure, and it's been a little unpredictable whether the ball's going to stay down or come up. And Justin Smoke in particular, one day he had one go down. Next at bat, the one just came up. Tula and Ryan have been fighting this. The big thing is they have to work from the ground up, but you have to be ready for that ball to come up on you.
And Strata buries that first pitch into dirt. This is Jock Peterson. He struck out his first time up.
And I wonder if it isn't that ground ball, the first hop or two, hitting the carpet, almost creating some spin on the baseball so that when it does hit the clay, it's a different spin or rotation than natural grass.
Jock Peterson, he's not going to want to come to Toronto anymore. Yesterday he had to deal with the knuckleballer. R.A. Dickey today he's got to deal with his changeup. He goes, what are all these trick pitches up here in Toronto? Must be a Canadian thing.
He liked one knuckleball.
Curveball. He was showing bunt, takes a strike, and now he's behind 1-2. You can tell him it's coming, and that changeup is that good. 7 strikeouts.
The all-new Honda Civic, now available with Turbo, the 2016 North American Car of the Year.
A lot of mothers being pampered today here at Rogers Center. The Blue Jays have put on a good assortment of specialties for the moms. Get your fingernails done, you can get a facial, all kinds of great things going on here. And the Blue Jays have a 1-0 lead. Carl Crawford, a strikeout victim, his first time up. .89 miles an hour, and Crawford is late. He's got that changeup on his mind.
Same thing with that first pitch of this at bat. Cutter up in the zone. Got a big swing from Crawford. Comes up empty.
He threw him that changeup that time, and he wouldn't chase.
And you think if they lay off that changeup like they did right there, Russell Martin's either thinking, okay, you laid off that one, I'm coming right back with it, or you're going to elevate. He's coming right back with the changeup again.
He got a piece of it. Goins to his left. He throws in time, and Estrada has 5 innings in the book. A 3 up, 3 down. Top of the 5th. Blue Jays have a 1-0 lead behind Marco Estrada.
Those big comfy green chairs in the TD Comfort Zone are special guests of TD. While over in the Jays Care Community Clubhouse are honorary Batgirl finalists and guests from the Canadian Breast Cancer Foundation. Welcome, everybody.
Welcome indeed. It's a great afternoon here in the Jays Care Community Clubhouse. Always a great spot for our guests to come and enjoy this beautiful ballpark. Right now they're enjoying a heck of a ball game, a 1-0 lead for the Blue Jays. Troy Tulowitzki to lead things off. Goes after that first pitch and fouls it off. Fly ball into right field. Thompson, the right fielder, over, makes the catch. One down here, bottom of the 5th. Well, the Blue Jays, everybody said what a bad start they've gotten off to, and indeed not what anybody expected. But when you compare the two seasons, not really that much difference. They've scored a few less runs, hit the same amount of home runs, and certainly have more strikeouts. But biggest difference, I guess, Joe, is the runners in scoring position.
Well, it is. The home runs are certainly there. I think the strikeouts are a little alarming and a bit of a concern for John Gibbons. He thinks that will come down, but the batting average certainly down as well. This is a team that hit really for average. They hit for power. They didn't strike out a ton last season. So those are the changes, but it is early, and I think it's actually a good sign to see that they have the same record despite those comparisons.
Kevin Pillar lines it into center, and Peterson's going to make a diving catch. He turned the trick on Kevin Pillar, who's done that to hitters so many times. Peterson takes a hit away from Kevin Pillar. He hit that curveball sharply on the line to center.
Well, nice piece of hitting by Kevin, but yes, he got beat at his own game here. Jock Peterson got a good jump on that baseball, closing the gap in a hurry into that sliding catch.
2 down for the catcher. Russell Martin batting 8th this afternoon. Russell goes after that first pitch. Martin had a good at bat in the 3rd inning. With Pillar's leadoff double, Kevin was at second when Russell grounded to the first baseman to move Pillar over to third, and he would come in on the fielder's choice off the bat of Ryan Goins. That's a high breaking ball, and Russell checking with the umpire, Chad Fairchild. Is that the top of the strike zone? Am I seeing that all right?
Russ has been adamant about trying to work the other way better. He knows he's best when he's thinking right center. 2 strike situations, good time to think that. See him in batting practice just peppering that right center gap. He can even hit the ball out to right center field, but it allows him to stay on the ball longer. His biggest issue has been pulling off of that front side, and you do that, that bat's in and out of the hitting zone.
Curveball backed up a bit. Stripling underhands to Kendrick. The inning is over. Stripling has retired 7 in a row, but he trails 1-0.
Blue Jays baseball live on your phone and tablet with the MLB.com at-bat app. Customize at-bat to feature the Blue Jays and stay up to the moment at any moment with scores, news, live game video highlights, and much more. Download MLB.com at-bat, the #1 app for live baseball. Buck.
Thank you very much, Hazel May. The at-bat allows you to check out all the scores around baseball, and if you're following baseball at all, you'll know that Texas Rangers right-hander A.J. Griffin pitched so well in the opener of the recent series here with Texas went on the disabled list with a shoulder problem. So that's not good news for Texas. That might rush the return of Yu Darvish back. He was pretty good in his second rehab start. He started on Friday at Round Rock in the minor leagues, so going to keep a close eye on him. Trace Thompson, the right fielder, getting his first start in this 3-game series. Ball on a strike to the number 9 hitter here in the 6th. You just can't really commit to that fastball as a hitter. And that's why so many guys are late, even though it's 88 miles an hour.
I think it's a very deceptive 88 miles per hour. It's one of those, as a hitter, it explodes on you more like 95.
We have talked often this year about spin rate, and I think that has a lot to do with Estrada's success. Pitch fastball up in the zone, little extra spin rate creates that illusion of skipping on hitters.
And it's interesting, we've heard that from Jay Happ as well. Catchers will tell us that his fastball's got that explosiveness at the end.
Marco wasn't happy with that last changeup. Threw it in the dirt, and he had him set up on the 2-2 pitch. That's when he wanted that changeup in there. Top of the order will be next, Chase Utley.
Told me just before this start a couple of days ago, he's just not quite there with his changeup. We've seen some outstanding changeups today, and I think he's getting much closer to where he wants to be. He's looking forward to locking that in.
There's a drive to the alley. That's going to get down for a hit. That's the first hit for the Dodgers as Thompson got that pitch up out over the plate and drilled it off the wall in right. His 5th double of the season is the first hit for the Dodgers.
You see the fingers on that baseball trying to get it out there. That ball came back onto the plate a little bit. Thompson does a nice job keeping the hands in, letting it travel, and he drives it into the right center gap. Oftentimes you'll see a catcher set up and move that catcher's mitt. That indicates that the pitcher missed his spot, and that ball just coming back over a bit on Marco.
So in this 1-0 ball game, the tying run is in scoring position at second for Chase Utley. Utley 0 for 1 with a walk. Estrada retired the first 9 he faced in this game before walking Utley to start the 4th. And then after 1 out, Troy Tulowitzki made an error that was 1st and 2nd with 1 out, and Estrada struck out the next 2 batters.
Josh Donaldson has to guard against the bunt here, but he also has to keep an eye on that runner.
Fly ball to center. Thompson back to tag. Pilar makes the catch on the warning track. Thompson moves to third base on Utley's fly to the warning track in center. So Chase Utley has a productive at bat. He moves that runner from second to third. Woody Woodward, the third base coach, longtime Blue Jay, his first year as the third base coach with the Dodgers. He was a first base coach for 3 years in Seattle. And he is here now in the first season with Dave Roberts. Woody played with the Blue Jays from '99 to 2004. He was the opening day shortstop in '03 and '04. The infield is drawn in. SEAGER waited back and fouled off that changeup. You tell yourself, wait, wait, wait. You just can't wait long enough.
And you know, we talked about him being a first pitch swinger, and that's okay to be a first pitch swinger, but if you're going to do that in this situation, you want to sit on that off-speed pitch. Caught him out front again, and we'll see if we don't see some cutters in on his hands with this Blue Jays infield in. Josh Donaldson making sure Thompson does not get a good jump from third.
Foul back.
A third baseman is not going to hold a runner on third base. Josh is just making sure he does not get off that bag too much. just until Marco delivers that pitch, and then he'll get back out to his position to try to cover some ground on that left side. Watch him move as Marco delivers home.
Well, and he can do that too because it's a left-handed batter, so he's got the ability to stay close to the bag. He and Russell Martin will put plays on from time to time. We've seen Donaldson mess with runners at third throughout his tenure here. You don't see that very often, and Josh just trying to keep Thompson real close.
I think they got him inside here. Good idea. Russell set up inside and wanted that ball elevated. You need a strikeout right here or a pop-up in the infield. And the way you do that is you get off the barrel of the bat and in on the hands. Now he's going to go for the strikeout. See that 2, and then the fist pump saying, you get it down there. There it is.
Ball scoots away, but not far enough. As SEAGER is tagged out. That's the second out of the inning. What a job by Russell Martin to really accentuate the fact he wanted it in the dirt. I'll block it, you throw it in the dirt.
Russell gave him the 2, and then he gave him a fist pump saying, make sure you get it down there. So he does that, does a nice job getting down. Now, unfortunately for the youngster SEAGER, this is not good here for a young player. You've got to run to first base here and at least make Russell Martin throw the ball. It doesn't happen very often. The one time it does, it might tie this ball game. That is not a good look from a young player.
Now, you got to make the catcher make that throw to first with the tying run at third. Justin Turner.
We'll see the changeup is not just for left-handed batters. We've seen Marco use it against righties on occasion, not near as much as he does against the left-handers, but because that cutter and curveball are bigger weapons for him against the righties, he will mix the change in.
These two have faced each other going all the way back to college. Marco Estrada pitched at Long Beach State. Justin Turner played for Cal State Fullerton, two big rivals in Southern California. 2-1, 2 outs. Another great changeup.
It's a great pitch righty-righty also, because as a right-handed batter, they're thinking more cutter curveball in terms of the off-speed pitches off that fastball. So the changeup, which looks so much like a fastball, can be very deceptive. He's gotten Turner twice. We'll see where he goes now with 2 strikes.
Turner fights it off. 2-strike approach, just trying to protect the strike zone.
The fastball inside is an excellent pitch after the off-speed offerings from Estrada.
Full count. Adrian Gonzalez, the dangerous left-handed bat, on deck. The Blue Jays have a 1-0 lead. All of those pitches very difficult to cover any quadrant of the plate. You just can't sit on one part of the strike zone with Estrada on the mound.
And what I like about it, when he's coming in with that fastball, he's not going to miss on the plate. He's either going to miss up or he's going to miss in. If that happens again, it's even okay. As long as this guy doesn't beat you, he'd rather start with Gonzalez in a fresh count.
Just off the plate, ball 4. Second walk issued by Estrada. So there'll be runners at the corners with 2 outs for Adrian Gonzalez.
Turner's too good of a hitter to miss with your fastball on the plate in a 3-2 count, so I don't mind the approach at all. You try to get in there, you try to jam him again or catch that inside corner, but if he's going to miss, you miss off, and that's exactly what Marco did. Now we can start with Gonzalez here in a fresh count. It's not ideal putting the go-ahead run on base, but that's just good pitching right there by Estrada.
Trace Thompson with a big walking lead down the third baseline. Ground ball. Tulowitzki gets a nice hop, steps on the bag, and Estrada is out of the inning. That ball kicked off the mound and gave Tulowitzki a nice hop at second. The Dodgers strand a pair. Blue Jays have a 1-0 lead.
The Tim and Sid Show features in-depth sports analysis and high-profile guests. Catch them weeknights from 5 to 7 p.m. Eastern right here on Sportsnet or connect online 24/7 at Tim and Sid.
Great day at the ballpark. This wraps up the 7-game homestand for the Blue Jays. They took 3 of 4 from Texas. This is the rubber match of this 3-game series against the Dodgers. And the Blue Jays have a 1-0 lead. Ross Stripling done a nice job. Leadoff double by Pilar in the third was cashed in on a fielder's choice by Goins, and that's the only run of this ball game. Both pitchers doing a great job. Each team with just 1 hit. 9-1-2 for the Blue Jays as Goins takes the first pitch curveball from Stripling. Ryan drove in the only run of this game with a ground ball to the first baseman. Howie Kendrick had to dive to his right and threw from the ground and couldn't get anything on the throw, and Pilar got a great read off the bat. He went on contact and scored with the head first slide. Ryan trying to get something going against Ross Stripling here in the 6th. Hit right to Utley. He throws out Goins. 1 down.
Well, Troy Tulowitzki made a fine play here to end the inning, get Marco Estrada out of this trouble. But look where he is playing, just in behind the second base bag, shifting Gonzalez to pull. That's what they do. They get the shortstop in behind the bag, right off the mound, and that's where that data comes in handy. The shift played perfectly there, turning a huge out in this ball game.
Yeah, and overall, you know, the shifts have really made a difference. It's difficult to get hits through the infield now. Every once in a while, a broken bat ground ball will sneak through and cross up the shift, but most of the hard hit balls are hit into the shift.
And I think what'll happen too, you get an Adrian Gonzalez. We saw the veteran make an adjustment in his swing at times in this series. That time he wasn't. That was his swing. It was a cutter down and in. He took it right back up the middle. But the more veteran type hitters will do that, we'll see maybe a few less shifts. But until then, they'll continue to play him over there and let him hit it right into it.
Chris Hatcher, the right-hander, starting to loosen up for the Dodgers. Strike two, the cold breaking ball on the inside corner. Ross Stripling 0-2 for the season, but he has gotten back in the groove here this afternoon against the Blue Jays. Saunders checked his swing. This start very similar to his first start against the Giants on the 8th of April. He took a no-hitter into the 8th inning. Left after 7 1/3 of no-hit ball. He walked 4 in that game and gave up a run, but he threw 100 pitch and was removed. Josh Donaldson has started out the day 0-2.
Can certainly see the no-hit potential for Stripling, and of course in his major league debut I'm sure is a very exciting night for him, but that curveball for me has been a very key pitch, and I wonder if he's not using it a little bit more against this sometimes potent Blue Jays lineup, really keeping these hitters off balance.
Ground ball. Kendrick broke. He's got to hustle to get back to the bag, and he does just in time. He located that bag just before Saunders got to first, stepped on the bag to retire the Blue Jays left field. Josh Donaldson has grounded out and flied out. Donaldson with 21 RBIs on this homestand. He's had a little bit of a struggle for 2 today. Just 3 for 19 on the homestand.
And you wonder now, his 3rd time seeing Stripling. He knows he's going to see that curveball at some point, if not the slider. You wonder if Josh isn't just going to sit on one pitch this whole at bat, whether it's the slider or the curveball.
Hot shot, gloved by Turner. He takes another hit away from Donaldson. A couple times in this series, Donaldson has hit it hard, but Turner makes a play. A couple of good third basemen in this series. Josh Donaldson tries to get one past Turner. Nothing doing. Turner makes a nice glove catch, stands up and fires to first to retire the side.
Blue Jays Flyaway Contest is now on. Enter for your chance to cheer on your Blue Jays in Boston with WestJet. Go to bluejays.com/WestJetFlyaway to enter.
That is the WestJet flight deck out there with all the beautiful pink bunting on, and we're in a heck of a ball game. 1-0. Pete Walker grabbing the bullpen phone. They're going to get the bullpen started. Hit to Smoke. Yasmani GRANDAL grounds out on one pitch, and Marco Estrada has had a great start here this afternoon.
Well, location is so important for Marco. He's not an overpowering guy, but the changeup has been an absolutely huge pitch. We talked about it in the open, especially with all the left-handers in this Dodgers lineup today. We've seen a couple changeups even to the righties. He's not 100% perfectly set with that changeup, although we've seen some very good ones today. He says, when I get that changeup going, I'm going to have some fun. I think Marco's having some fun today.
Marco Estrada pitching into the 7th, and Gavin Floyd has started to throw down in the Blue Jays bullpen. Howie Kendrick takes strike 2. Estrada has flirted with no hitters in the past. He did it in consecutive starts last year in June. June 19th against the Orioles, June 24th at Tampa Bay. Jimmy Paredes had a hit in the 8th inning to start it, a pinch hit single to left field to break up the no-hitter. Then Logan Forsythe had an infield hit in Tampa Bay to break up a perfect game, also in the 8th inning. So today was nothing new. He no-hit the Dodgers until Trace Thompson had a leadoff single in the 6th. Leadoff double, excuse me, and he was stranded at 3rd. Off the glove of Smoke, Estrada is there in time. Justin Smoke, surprised he didn't catch it, but reacted very quickly, got the ball on the bounce, and Estrada was there to cover the bag in time.
Russell Martin's going to go give his pitcher a little breather right now, but the key here is Marco Estrada getting off the mound in a hurry. When you see a line drive over there as a pitcher, your instinct is not to get over as opposed to a ground ball. You expect this ball to either be in right field or for Smoke to catch it. It goes in and out of his mitt, but those instincts by Estrada very important to beat Kendrick to the bag. Watch this, right when the ball's hit, bam, get over there. That little hesitation, he jumped with Justin, but then he motored over there. And it's a good thing he did to beat Kendrick.
Yeah, you're right. Oftentimes a pitcher will see that line drive, and then when it goes off the glove, they'll just relax, conceding that it might be a base hit. But he stayed on his toes and got there just in time to retire Kendrick. So Martin went out to help Estrada catch his breath after the sprint to first. 2 outs. Jock Peterson 0 for 2, couple of strikeouts, goes after the first pitch. High and deep to right. Bautista watching this one, and it's a 1-1 tie on the home run by Peterson, his 2nd of the series. Peterson went after that first pitch and hits it deep to right.
Well, you talked about Peterson earlier today, not liking the knuckleball a whole lot, not liking what Marco's done to him today, but he got R.A. Dickey straightaway center field yesterday, and this is a first pitch curveball from Estrada, and you wonder maybe if Peterson just went up there looking for it. That's a pretty good experience from a young player, but you never know if there's a veteran in that dugout that says, hey, if you don't like what he's throwing, go up there looking for one of them. That's how you set your sights in on one pitch, and he made the most of it.
Crawford gets hit by Goins into right. A 2-out single after the home run for Carl Crawford. Pete Walker now checking on the status of Gavin Floyd. You just have to wonder, after that sprint to first, they went to the mound, they had a little conference, tried to help Estrada catch his breath. But then he threw that first pitch curveball, and Peterson knocked it out of the park to tie it at 1-1.
Oftentimes you'll see that when a pitcher runs over and covers first base, the catcher will go out. Just let him catch his breath and make sure that he's good to go, rested and ready 100%. But that first pitch, you just never know. Breathing a little heavy still, maybe didn't get the break he wanted on that curveball.
Donaldson, backhand, fires to first. That ends the inning, but the Dodgers Jock Peterson's second home run of the series have tied it. Home run number 6 for Peterson.
Fans, don't forget to enter the Bacardi Blue Jays for a Day contest for a chance to win a great Blue Jays on-field experience. For details, entry form, and rules, go to bluejays.com/Bacardi contest. Your contest closes Thursday, June 30th at 4:59 p.m.
Great crowd on hand here at the Rogers Center on this Mother's Day, and they've been entertained in a beautiful 1-1 ball game. New pitcher for the Dodgers is the big right-hander, Chris Hatcher.
Hatcher leads the team with his 14 relief appearances, but it has not all been good. 12 innings. He's walked 9 batters. It's been a big issue for him. He's also given up 12 hits. He's held left-handers to a 2-for-21 number, so that part's been good. Righties, though, getting him pretty good, hitting .385 against him.
Hatcher has to deal with the middle of the order. Bautista, Encarnacion, and Smoke. 1-1 ball game. Jose has gone 0 for 2. Blue Jays have 1 hit. That was the Pilar leadoff double in the 3rd. Hatcher signed originally with the Florida Marlins. He was traded from the Miami Marlins to Los Angeles in December of 2014. Not the way you want to start this inning in a 1-1 game. 3-0 to Bautista.
As you said, 9 walks in his 12 innings certainly have been an issue for him, and he's got the wrong guy at the plate to be missing the zone. Jose with some very good strike zone discipline.
Everything away to Bautista. 3-1. Jose with 6 home runs this season. He's also driven in 22. Ground ball. Turner at third has it. Takes his time. 1 down.
Save during the Lawn and Garden Expert Sale, only at Home Hardware and Home Hardware Building Center. Homeowners helping homeowners with expert advice.
Marco Estrada, 7 innings of 2-hit ball. Drew Storen is loosening up for the Blue Jays. You see Roberto Osuna in the background. He is healthy and good to go today. Been dealing with a little bit of a sore groin. Marco Estrada in this 1-1 game. Another terrific outing for Marco. 2 walks, 8 strikeouts through 7 innings. It's a good spot in the lineup to get Marco a run. Line drive to left. That's going to hang up for Crawford, and he makes the catch. Headed toward the end of the bat.
Hatcher's got a good arm. The fastball will be 96 miles per hour. Slider, cutter, and changeup, and I think that's what that was. That cutter just getting it off the barrel towards the end of the bat. Edwin hit it right to Crawford in left.
Justin Smoak, he struck out twice today. Smoak with 2 home runs that came in the same game in consecutive at-bats on Tuesday against the Texas Rangers. Oh, he had a good cut ball out over the plate. Smoak's got good power to the opposite field. He hit his first home run in that ball game in the 9th inning to tie it to left center, and then the game winner, a 2-run shot, went to straightaway left field.
And he's a big guy, likes that ball out over the plate. Don't anticipate he'd get another fastball out there. At this point in the ball game, though, you want to make a hitter use the big part of the ballpark. So if you stay away, you force him to go center, left, center. Much more difficult to leave the ballpark.
Missed with that fastball upstairs. Hatcher is 31 years old. As we mentioned, he signed originally with the Marlins, part of a 7-player trade to the Dodgers on December 10th of 2014. Took something off and got the swing and a miss. 2-2 now.
Good changeup, and again with that velocity up around 96 miles per hour. We've seen the cutter as well that he got Edwin on. But now he mixes in the changeup down and diving away from the left-handed hitting Smoak. Nice combination of pitches.
Base hit. Smoak's on board. A 2-out single for Justin Smoak. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership. Sue Happ got to throw out the first pitch on this Mother's Day, Breast Cancer Awareness Day. Everybody is outfitted in pink. Jay was happy to share that first pitch with his mom. Troy Tulowitzki takes strike 1. Tulowitzki 0 for 2, batting under 200, but he has 5 home runs. You just sense that one of these days he's going to click and everything's going to start to turn around for him.
He's trying to stay on the baseball longer. We saw him this last at bat flying out to right field. That's a good indication, but they continue to pound him away.
Pops this one up over near the Dodger dugout, out of play.
And that timing is just not right. We continue to see Troy just working underneath the baseball, just unable to get on top. That's where we're seeing so many of those fouls straight back and up and over the screen behind home plate. Catcher YASMANI GRANDAL is looking at his little wristband there, camouflaged as a little homework sheet. He's got scouting reports on there about different hitters, what their tendencies may be.
Outside. One of these days I want you to show me your little cheat sheet that you wore on your arm.
That's unbelievable, isn't it? 2016. Now I'd like to say the catchers used to be smarter, Buck. We didn't need that. We did our homework. But you see GRANDAL there lifting that LA logo on his wristband, and he's just got some tendencies there. Perhaps too low chases away or chases up with 2 strikes. That's where he's going now.
The Dodgers have really bought into the analytical world. They have about a 12-man computer staff that sorts out all their information and passes it along to the coaches and players. 3-2, 2 out. Smoke. He'll get a running start at first. Kendrick backing up behind him. Here's the 3-2 pitch to Tulowitzki. Ball 4. So Tulowitzki takes one down and in, a 2-out walk as Smoke moves to second. Kevin Pillar, another opportunity to give the Blue Jays the lead.
All of the pitchers and catchers get together before a series. We'll see the Blue Jays pitchers all parade down the hallway into a room. They meet with the pitching coaches and the catcher. They go over all the hitters on the opposing team, what their strengths and weaknesses are, who's hot, who's not, who might expand the zone with 2 strikes. They gather all of this information. Who do we not want to beat us in a key situation? So we're seeing GRANDAL there looking at his wristband, his little cheat sheet. He'll draw some little notes on there and just know that maybe Tulowitzki does chase. So we're not going to throw him a strike in this situation. We'll credit Tulowitzki in this particular case. He did not chase the ball down.
Rick Honeycutt, the longtime pitching coach in his 11th season with the Dodgers. He had 21 years as a major league pitcher. I bet you he never wrote a note for himself.
And you know, I chuckle about it, but it's true. We had those meetings and it was all in your head. You understood the game and that's what you did. But now, and I see you watch college baseball now, you'll see they're giving the catcher the pitches, what to throw, and they look at the wristband and they put up numbers. It's unbelievable.
Kevin Pillar had a big hit Friday night, a 3-run home run in the 8th. No sign, 2 outs. In the dirt. Smoke's at second, Tulowitzki's at first. It's a 1-1 game. We're in the bottom of the 7th. Kevin Pillar has one of the 2 Blue Jay hits. He had a leadoff double in the 3rd, came in to score on McGowan's groundout. Playing against his childhood team, the Dodgers.
Grew up cheering for the Dodgers and going to the games at Dodger Stadium. You still see that little mark under Kevin's right eye. That's from that diving catch he made in the gap last night. Got a little rug burn on the artificial turf. Landed on the right side of his chest, but the right side of his face planted into the turf as well.
A little bit of a delay. Marvin Hudson, the second base umpire, has come in near the mound. Now he's backing up. Not sure what he was looking at. Chase Utley asked Hudson to give him a good shot at the hitter, so Hudson has moved to a little bit further away from second. 1-0 pitch to Pillar. There's a strike. Pillar with that terrific diving catch yesterday. The heroics with the bat on Friday night. This would be a nice little icing on the cake for Pillar if he could come through right here.
Marvin Hudson has slid over the umpire because you see the second baseman Chase Utley wants to shade the middle. Normally the umpire would be up the middle, so he's just going to accommodate him.
Base hit to right field. Smoke is going to be stopped. Now they bobble the ball and he's going to come home and Chase Thompson won't make a throw. Smoke was stopped at third. Thompson bobbled the ball and then Rivera waved Smoke home and there was no throw to the plate. Kevin Pillar, his second hit of the afternoon. Smoke scores the go-ahead run. It'll be a base hit for Pillar and an error on the right fielder.
Well, nice piece of hitting by Kevin Pillar, but the right fielder Thompson was coming up with this ball. He dropped it. Third base coach Luis Rivera, watch him, number 4. He's holding up Smoke all the way. but Justin Smoak almost stopped in his track. But credit him for keeping his eyes on his third base coach. After the bobble in the outfield, Rivera said, come on, and that's a credit to the third base coach, keeping his eyes on the play. Just because you hold your runner up, the play's not over. Louis did that, and he saw the bobble in the outfield, and that's where the Blue Jays cashed in.
On the play, Tulowitzki goes all the way to third. Russell Martin. 2-1 Blue Jays. Kevin Pillar with another big hit. J.P. Howell, the left-hander, is standing by in the bullpen for the Dodgers. Popped up and playable. Kendrick into foul territory, and the inning is over. But the Blue Jays come through with 2 outs in the bottom of the 7th. Kevin Pillar's base hit to right. The run scores on an error by Trace Thompson. And Marco Estrada is the pitcher of record. The Blue Jays will go to Drew Storen to start the 8th.
Jays on Sportsnet. Presented by the all-new Honda Civic, now available with Turbo, the 2016 North American Car of the Year.
It is Mother's Day, and every lady here at Rogers Center has a chance to be pampered by the Blue Jays staff. The beauty shop working out there in center field. This will be Drew Storen on to start the 8th, his 14th appearance of the season.
Storen earned the save, his 2nd of the season, Friday night here against the Dodgers. Pitched a scoreless inning, a walk, and a couple of hits. A little adventure, but he was able to get through it.
Top of the order for Storen here in the 8th. Utley to start things off. Chase Utley's very familiar with Drew Storen. They both played in the NL East. Storen with the Nationals, Utley with the Phillies.
Storen's fastball will be around 92 miles per hour, slider and changeup, and he'll use both of those breaking pitches against the left-handers, and he'll use both sides of the plate. Backdoor that slider, started away, try to catch that outside corner.
Utley is 4 for 7 against Storen. Inside pitch, 2-1. Foul out of play. 2 balls and 2 strikes. The leadoff man here in the 8th. The Blue Jays leading at 2-1. Both teams were just 3 hits this afternoon. And slider, and Storen trying to get Utley to chase. It's a full count.
I think it's Drew's best pitch, and that time he was going with the put-away slider, trying to get Utley to chase and swing over top of it. Otherwise, he'll try the backdoor slider. We'll see if he does that here, 3-2, if he just goes back to the heater.
Missed with the fastball. Oh, changeup, actually. 84 miles an hour. Threw a changeup to walk Utley to start the inning. Osuna, he is up and throwing, and we are in the 8th inning. He has not pitched for a couple of days, dealing with a sore groin, and he has pronounced himself fit and ready to go. Corey Seager, shortstop, has gone 0 for 3 with a pair of strikeouts, all against Estrada. Seager struck out in the 6th with a man at 3rd. And then the swing and a miss on a breaking ball in the dirt. Ball got away from Russell Martin, and Seager walked back toward the dugout. Martin tagged him out. Had he been alert, he'd have broken toward first and forced Martin to make a throw with the tying run at 3rd.
And there's a young player feeling sorry for himself because he struck out in a big situation, and he just walks with his tail between his legs back to the dugout. It's unacceptable, and I'm sure Dave Roberts will be having a word with Seager about that.
0-2 pitches fouled out of play. Storen has had 3 good outings in a row. His last 3 outings, he's allowed a total of 3 hits, no runs, and struck out 3. So he's trying to string together a 4th. Picked up his 2nd save of the season, as we mentioned, on Friday night. Looked like a pretty good pitch. Storen didn't get the call. Swinging a drive down the right side. That's a fair ball, and it bounces over the wall for a ground rule double. Chase Utley will stop at 3rd. The leadoff walk. Pete Walker checking in on Osuna. Corey Seager with his first hit of the afternoon. And John Gibbons is going to make a pitching change. He's got Osuna ready. And Osuna, he hasn't pitched in this series. So Storen gives up a leadoff walk on a 3-2 changeup, and then gives up the double to Seager. And now he'll look to his bullpen partner, Roberto Osuna, to get him out of this situation.
Well, John Gibbons knows Roberto can come in and get some huge outs, and possibly via strikeout, and that's exactly what he needs right now with runners on 2nd and 3rd.
So Roberto Osuna will hear the crowd welcoming him into this game. Osuna will face Justin Turner, trying to protect the 1-run lead.
Shop is Canada's largest and only official team shop for your Toronto Blue Jays. New 2016 authentic jersey with 40th season sleeve patch available now. Get yours today at jshop.ca. Buck.
Thank you very much, Hazelmead. Well, big part of the ball game now. Blue Jays have a 2-1 lead, and John Gibbons has gone to Roberto Osuna with 2 aboard and no outs in the 8th.
Roberto in his 14th game, he pitched on Wednesday against the Rangers. He actually got the win in relief.
Justin Turner late on that fastball. Osuna has pitched 2 innings at 4 different times in his career. He's pitched a career high 2 1/3. That was early in May last year. He pitched 2 innings in the division series last year in the postseason. Turner can't believe that was a strike.
A lot of times a pitcher just misses a spot. Russell Martin had to reach across his body, but it's still in the strike zone. He just does not look as good, and especially to a hitter. Blue Jays need a strikeout here. The infield at halfway. See Tulowitzki and Goins in the middle. They're coming home with it.
Fastball 96 fouled back. No one except Chase Utley has faced Osuna in this Dodger lineup. So you can see the Dodgers huddled up on the bench. Turner Ward, the hitting coach, the former Blue Jay, right there sitting on the bench, the third man there, explaining Osuna and what he features. Slider. Brett Cecil has not pitched since Tuesday. He is in the Blue Jays bullpen, but we don't know if there's an injury. Remember when Osuna didn't pitch the other night, we didn't know that he was dealing with a groin injury.
It makes you think something's up, the fact that we haven't seen Cecil even get up today in the pen.
Strike 3 call. Turner drops his bat in frustration. A couple of strikes in that at bat he didn't agree with. Chad Fairchild.
Chad Fairchild saying that's it. Watch the way Russell Martin receives this pitch. Catches it on that outside corner, and the way he just subtly funnels it in to the strike zone. Sometimes the catcher can steal a pitch for you. That's a very close pitch, but Russell Martin, one of the best in the game at receiving pitches.
That looked like a strike all the way. Turner upset with a call earlier in the at-bat. They're going to put Gonzalez on and set up the double play. Yasmani Grandal will follow Gonzalez. Obviously, Blue Jays want to finish this homestand with a win, trying to protect this 2-1 lead. They would win the series against the Dodgers and have a winning homestand. Drew Storn came up a leadoff walk to Chase Utley and then a ground rule double to Corey Seager. Osuna strikes out Turner looking. Walks Gonzalez, sets up the double play. Yasmani Grandal. They switch hitter, he'll bat left-handed. Blue Jays have played a lot of National League style games lately. Not scoring the runs we are accustomed to. So now they got to lean heavily on their pitching. Marco Estrada was terrific in his start today. He's the pitcher of record for the Blue Jays. Outside with the first pitch to Grandal. Grandal 0 for 3 this afternoon.
Infield all backed off now. Roberto Osuna looking for that ground ball. Something hard at any one of the infielders. Should be able to turn 2 on the catcher.
There's a strike. It's 1-1. Grandal is 0 for 6 in the series. He walked on Friday night. He was 0 for 3 in that game. He struck out twice in this series. Blue Jays looking for a double play. We mentioned Osuna pitched 2 innings in 4 different games in his career. One of those came in the postseason, game 2 against Texas in the division series.
I think when you blow a fastball by him, you come right back with that same pitch.
You got a piece of it. It's going to reach the seats out of play. All those pitches bunched up and away. Tough to get to.
Interesting that Russell Martin went away with that pitch after he's a little late on the fastball. I thought he might try to come inside. It might be a comfort zone for Roberto, but that's the only chance I think he's got to get the barrel to the baseball and foul that pitch off right there.
2-1. Threw him a changeup. Osuna pitches well beyond his years. He's 21 years old. He doesn't seem to get rattled in any situation, regular season, postseason. Got ultimate confidence in his skills.
One thing he said in spring training after being around the league one time, now this is interleague play, but he wants to have the ability to throw any pitch in any count.
Two balls and 2 strikes. Everything away to Grandal.
He is so aware, though, as you said, mature beyond his years, and he knows being around the league once now what hitters are looking for if he does have tendencies, and he wants to be able to mix that up. Good change up the pitch before that and follows it up with the elevated fastball.
Another pitch away. Well, it just makes you think that they're going to take a shot inside the Grandal.
I thought they would have by now. They continue to pound that fastball away. I think when you have a hitter late like that on the fastball, clearly early in the count, the fastball was blown right by him at 96. To me now, go middle in with that same pitch, and he's got no chance.
Bases are loaded. The Blue Jays have a 2-1 lead. Russell Martin's not going to take any chances. We're going to talk this over.
Ryan Goins joins the party on the mound. Donaldson will too. Ryan, as the middle infielder, wants to make sure if they're changing their side sequence, the middle infielder, he needs to know. He and Troy Tulowitzki will now have a word with each other, probably to make sure that they're on the same page, because they have to know. They'll let each other know when they see that sequence of signs. It's a fastball or if it's an off-speed pitch. They may adjust their positioning slightly accordingly.
Bases loaded, 1 out. Fly ball. Pillar's back. Utley's tagging at third. Pillar's throw will go to third. Here's the throw to third, and it's wide of the mark. Grandal ties it up with a sac fly to center. The leadoff walk comes in to score. The runners move up, so now there are runners at second and third with 2 outs. SEAGER tagged and advanced from second to third, and the Blue Jays just kind of standing around wondering if they think maybe the runner left too soon, but it doesn't appear as though they're going to look at the video review. Sac fly for Grandal. That gives him 8 RBIs on the season. Howie Kendrick the batter. Base hit to right. 1-1 in. SEAGER will score, and the Dodgers have taken the lead. Gonzalez stops at third. Kendrick with a crisp RBI single to right picks up just his 3rd RBI of the season. And it's 3-2 Dodgers.
Well, pretty good hitting here by the veteran Howie Kendrick, not trying to do too much with this pitch out over the plate. Takes what's given to him and just drops the barrel on it, lining it into right field. He has done that for 11 years. good big league ball player.
Well, a pattern that has been all too consistent for the Blue Jays. Their bullpen has allowed 2 more inherited runners to score. John Gibbons trying to put out the fire here in the 8th after Storen walked Utley. Seager doubled, called upon Osuna. He strikes out Turner. But then they put Gonzalez aboard. Grandal with the sac fly, and now Howie Kendrick with an RBI single. Jock Peterson, he homered into the 7th to tie it up at 1-1. The Jays would take the lead in the bottom of the 7th, and now they have scored 2 more here in the 8th. Pedro Baez pitched in yesterday's game.
Struggles continue for Drew Storen. That leadoff walk certainly comes back to haunt them.
2-1 now to Jock Peterson. Peterson, 6 home runs, 5 of them have come on the road. He's hit 2 in this series, and Jesse Chavez is ready for the Blue Jays in their bullpen.
Justin Turner did not like the call on strike 3 from Roberto Osuna. Played umpire Chad Fairchild, and he went at it. But his teammates picked him up.
Wild swing on that slider. 2-2, 2 outs. Dodgers with 2 runs in here, top of the 8th. There goes Kendrick. Peterson strikes out. The inning is over, but the Dodgers scored 2 runs on 2 hits and a sacrifice fly. They have taken a 3-2 lead as we head to the bottom of the 8th. Now time for a Blue Jay Central update. Here's Jamie Campbell from the Samsung broadcast studio. To you by WestJet. After this game today, the Blue Jays will jump on a plane and head to the Bay Area. San Francisco will be the stop. 3 games against the Giants. Thursday will be an off day after the Wednesday day game in San Francisco. Then 3 games against the Texas Rangers in Arlington. A quick 3-game homestand when the Blue Jays come back on Monday the 16th, and then we go on the road to take on the Minnesota Twins. Pedro Baez into the game with the Dodgers up by a run.
Baez working in his 14th game, 12 1/3 innings. He's just walked 5 and struck out 16 batters. Opponents hitting just 178. against him. He's limited. Just 2 hits the first batter faced.
Trace Thompson moves from right field to left field defensively, and Yasiel Puig comes off the bench to take over in right. Ezequiel Carrera starts things off, batting for Ryan Goins. Carrera, the pinch hitter. Baez out of the bullpen has done a nice job, but he's much better off starting with a clean inning. He's allowed 6 of 8 inherited base runners to score. So the Dodgers are in position to give him a clean inning to begin with. He's only allowed a 178 opponent's batting average this year. Off the plate outside. Baez worked a clean 8th inning in yesterday's game. 3 up, 3 down. Got Tolley, Pilar, and Donaldson.
Fastball will be up around 95, 96 miles per hour with a slider and a changeup, and especially tough against left-handed batters. 0 for 13 with 6 strikeouts.
Yeah, that's unusual for a righty to be that dominant against lefties, but he's got a hard fastball and a very good changeup. One and 2. Strike 3 call. Carrera thought it was inside. Fairchild shaking his head. Leadoff man strikes out here in the 8th.
Well, Ezekiel didn't like the call, and it's the top of the zone that hitters have a real problem with. It just seems like it's up there, but of course when you look at the box, it does catch that top part of the zone on the inner corner.
Ball had a little late movement and took it back toward the inside corner. So Chris Hatcher gave up an unearned run in the 7th. Now Baez here in the 8th with a 1-run lead.
There's that good changeup right there. Moving down and away from Saunders.
Foul back. Baez throws a lot of strikes. Puts you in a swing mode for sure. But they're not too comfortable bringing him in with runners on. And they're able to bring him in with nobody on to start the inning. Ross Stripling started the game through 85 pitches over his 6 innings of work. Allowed 1 run on 1 hit. Didn't walk a batter and struck out 6. Marco Estrada started for the Blue Jays. He had a good outing. He went 7 innings, allowed a run on 3 hits. He walked 2 and struck out 8.
It's a very good combination for Baez. That fastball up around 96, and you see how he uses the whole zone. Soft away, comes back in with the heater. Now he's got Saunders thinking about both sides of the plate. You have to be conscious of that fastball in, but to also cover that changeup away is very difficult with that high velocity.
He got a piece of it to stay alive.
Good piece of 2-strike hitting right there by Saunders to stay alive. Got brushed up and in at 96 and went back down and away with the changeup, and he's still on it enough to get a piece.
One down after the pinch hitter. Ezekiel Carrera was called out on strikes. Full count. Donaldson will be next. Josh was robbed of a base hit his last time up by the third baseman, Justin Turner. He's 0 for 3 this afternoon.
See how Josh is so animated in his movements and getting that little rhythm, that little wiggle he has in his stance and that timing, and to feel his weight staying over the middle of his body. So many little minute details, and it's such a feel for him.
That's going to drop for a base hit. Michael Saunders delivers with the 3-2 pitch, a 1-out single, and Donaldson will come up with a man on.
That is an excellent at-bat by Michael Saunders. Watch him pull the hands in here on the fastball in at 96, 97 miles per hour after the pitches he saw in that at-bat, conscious of the ball in, but also that soft changeup away. That's a great piece of hitting. The only way you get to it is by being short to the baseball. He pulled the hands in nicely there.
Baez has given up 4 home runs to right-handed hitters. One out. Kenley Jansen closed out the 9th yesterday, gave up a 2-out single, and that was it. Faced 4 batters in the 9th. Popped back over the screen and out of play. It was not a save for Jansen. It was a 6-2 ball game when he came into the game. Clayton Kershaw went 7 innings, gave up 2 runs on 8 hits, and struck out 10 in winning that game yesterday. Another sellout crowd here today. 46,625 in attendance. It's been a packed house for all 3 games. Right on the corner at 97. The Dodgers, if they were any deeper, they'd be asking for popcorn. In the outfield, they are backed up against the wall. A no doubles defense for sure.
Dave Roberts has them all backed up with Saunders on first base. They don't want anything over their heads to score that tying run from first base.
1-2, 1 out. Foul tipped into the catcher's mitt. Second strikeout of the inning. Here's another showdown after the strikeout. Donaldson strikes out on the good fastball.
Not a piece of it, but very well located too on the outer third of the plate. And if you can stay out there at 96, 97, you're not going to get a whole lot of hard contact.
Well, Dave Roberts, the rookie manager, he looks like he's going to make a pitching change. He's got a purpose about his walk to the mound. Baez strikes out Donaldson, and he makes the call for the big guy. Kenley Jansen will come on and take over. So Jansen will come in to face Jose Bautista with 2 outs and a man aboard, and the Blue Jays down by a run. for this game, and they'll play a 3-game series. On Monday night, it'll be Aaron Sanchez against Jake Peavy. Tuesday night, the lefty Jay Happ against Matt Cain. Both Peavy and Cain struggling. And how about the marquee matchup for Wednesday afternoon? Marcus Stroman against the great left-hander Madison Bumgarner. So it'll be a 3-game series in San Francisco. Make note, the Wednesday game is a day game. Kenley Jansen closed out the game yesterday. It was a non-save situation. This is a save situation. 2 outs in the 8th. Darwin Barney takes over as a pinch runner at first for Michael Saunders. Jose Bautista against the hard-throwing Kenley Jansen. Jansen didn't look like he wanted to throw it.
Either didn't want to throw it, or sometimes a manager will have the pitcher hold just to take a look at that runner on first base and see if Barney's thinking of trying to steal a base. I can't see that happening with Bautista at the plate.
Bautista is 0 for 2 going head-to-head with Kenley Jansen.
Dave Roberts knows all about stealing bases. He may be just taking a peek at Barney over there.
Jansen has not given up a home run this season. This is his 13th appearance. He's pitched a total of 12 innings, and hitters have hit 150 against him.
Well, the fastball will be around 93 and that breaking ball to go with it, but we saw a lot yesterday, and it's that cut fastball, that cutting action away from the right-hander. We'll see how they attack Bautista. I got to believe they're going to attack him away, cutting that fastball off the plate.
He missed with that cutter, and Bautista fouled it back. Just a little bit up, but it was one he could reach.
Barney does have 2 stolen bases, and Jansen is not overly quick to the plate. Perhaps with 2 strikes on Bautista, you may see him take a shot.
Now they're aware of Barney's space stealing ability. He's 2 for 2 this year. He's picked his spots very carefully. All of those pitches up out of the zone. It's 1-2 now.
GRANDAL has just thrown out 22% of base runners in his career. This year he's thrown out 3 out of 10. It's a catcher that if you give him a chance, he can throw somebody up, but Jansen can be pretty big. He's a big guy on the mound. If he's 1-4, 1-5 to the plate, Barney could sneak one.
There goes Barney. Bautista hits it on the ground, and it's caught, and that's going to end the inning. It was a sinking line drive. Utley grabs it, and the inning is over. So Kenley Jansen comes out, gets Bautista on the soft liner, and the inning is over. We will go to the 9th. Jesse Chavez in. Here's that liner with Barney running, a slow liner, and Utley leaves his feet. That ends the 8th. We'll go to the 9th. 3-2 Dodgers. Brought to you by the all-new Honda Civic, the 2016 North American Car of the Year.
Well, Jock Peterson was baffled. A couple of bats chasing changeups against Estrada today, but he went up, I think, looking soft, and he got a first pitch curveball from Estrada that tied the ball game at 1. Back in the 7th inning, he also got R.A. Dickey yesterday. Didn't like the knuckleball, didn't like the off-speed pitches from Estrada, but he was still able to do damage against the Blue Jays.
Jesse Chavez will come in to pitch the 9th inning. This is his 12th appearance of the season, and Jesse's gotten off to a good start this season.
Well, nice job by Jesse. 12 ball games now, and he's pitched 10 2/3 innings. He's walked just 3 and struck out 16, holding opponents to a combined .211 average. He's been outstanding against right-handers.
Darwin Barney came in as a pinch runner. He takes over defensively at second. The pinch hitter, Ezekiel Carrera, takes over defensively in left. Puig rips it by. Smoke into right field. Yasiel Puig came in defensively and jumps on the first pitch for a base hit.
Well, Puig coming right off the bench looking for that first pitch. Does a nice job pulling the hands in, staying inside that baseball, shooting it past Justin Smoke at first base.
Well, Puig can run too. You got to keep your eye on him at first. Not running here. Trace Thompson got the first hit for the Dodgers, leading off the 6th. It was a double to the alley in right center. He's late on that fastball from Chavez. The lefty Chad Girardo starting to loosen up. Looks like Gavin Floyd's going to get up again and throw. Ground ball. Barney quickly to Tulowitzki, back to first, not in time. Just wasn't that sharply hit to Barney. Had to wait on the big hop, and by the time he got it to Tulowitzki, it was too late.
Good hustle by the youngster getting down the line. Just not hit hard enough. Darwin gets rid of it quickly to Tulo, and a quick turn by the shortstop, but just not in time to get the speedy Thompson.
One out now for Chase Utley. He's had another interesting day. Couple of walks. He's 0 for 2. He scored the second Dodger run in the 8th inning. Utley scored on the sacrifice fly by Yasmani Grandal. That tied it up, and then right behind him, Corey Seager scored on Howie Kendrick's RBI single. That's where we stand now. It's 3-2 Dodgers. The starters are both good this afternoon. Ross Stripling for the Dodgers allowed just 1 run on 1 hit over 6 innings. Ground ball up the middle, base hit. Thompson stops at second. Chase Utley continues to hit the ball well here. His first hit, he's 1 for 3 this afternoon. John Gibbons has Chad Girardo ready. Corey Seager, left-handed bat, is the batter, and Girardo has been called upon. He'll come on to face Corey Seager with runners at first and second, 1 out. We're in the top of the ninth. The Dodgers have a 3-2 lead. When we come back, it'll be Jurado against Seager. Happy Mother's Day, everybody. And the moms here at Rogers Center have had a good day out with their kids. They have been pampered here by the Blue Jays. They've had opportunities to have their nails done, their hair done, facials, and it's been a good Mother's Day. Chad Jurado makes his 4th appearance. He pitched yesterday and gave up a home run to Justin Turner. So this might be a one and done for Jurado facing Corey Seager, whom he struck out yesterday. Seager goes after the first pitch.
That first pitch swinging continues for Corey Seager. Jurado challenges him with that first pitch fastball. I got to believe Russell Martin's going to put down a couple of sliders now that he's got him in swing mode. Jurado with that 3/4 arm angle from the left side.
0-2.
Fastball be around 87, 88. That slider and changeup. He came back with another heater right there. Seager late again.
High breaking ball. He missed with that slider away. Come right back with that pitch again after he had a feel for that hanger.
Get the first feel for that spin off his fingertips and maybe come back with a better one. Get that down in the zone, start at middle and have it dive down and away and try to get a swing from Seager.
Seager had a ground rule double his last time up. That was off Drew Storm. Bounced over the fence in right. Fastball, base hit to left. Carrera is coming up throwing. They're waving the runner home. Here's the throw to the plate. It's not in time, and it gets away from Russell Martin. They stayed with the fastball, and Seager delivers an RBI single to left. Thompson comes in to score, and a big run for the Dodgers. It's now a 2-run game. And John Gibbons will go to the right-hander, Gavin Floyd. So Jurado gives up a base hit and an RBI to Corey Seager, the only man he will face this afternoon. Justin Turner will be the batter. Gavin Floyd coming out of the bullpen. The Dodgers have added a run. They have scored 4 runs in the last 3 innings to take a 4-2 lead.
Get free VIP Blue Jays experiences like alumni meet and greet, seat upgrades, offers, and more with Game Plus, part of the MLB.com Ballpark app. Learn more at bluejays.com/Game Plus.
Thank you very much, Hazel. Buck Martinez along with Joe Siddle here. We are in the top of the ninth. New pitcher for the Blue Jays will be Gavin Floyd, making his 11th appearance.
Floyd in his 12 2/3 innings of work. He's walked 3 and struck out 13. Opponents hitting just 159 against him. Infield in now with Turner at the plate. Floyd fastball 92-93, curveball, cutter, and changeup.
Good fastball off the plate inside. Floyd was the winning pitcher in Friday night's game. Picked up his first win of the season. Faced 3 batters in his 1 inning of work. Floyd's always got that curveball in his back pocket. That'll get him out of a lot of tough situations.
Good sharp breaking ball that he has, and he's got that 93 fastball we saw first pitch with movement missing down and in on Turner, but it's a good complement of pitches. He's also got that cutter that he'll run away from righties.
High fastball. Gavin Floyd has adapted well to this bullpen role, and I think as the season goes on, he's going to get more significant innings. Curveball. Turner, aware he might get that breaking ball, was able to foul it off.
And he said coming out of spring training, John Gibbons and Pete Walker would give him time in the bullpen. He may need that extra time. As a starting pitcher, it changes your whole routine because you get a big long toss in before the game. You go out to the bullpen and get your full warm-ups. Now as a reliever, you don't get that full long toss in, so he's had to abbreviate his routine, so much so that even earlier in the afternoon at 3 o'clock, am I long tossing today, or am I going to just play catch from 60 or 90 feet?
Turner wouldn't chase that curveball. 2 balls and 2 strikes. The Dodgers have scored a run here in the 9th. Corey Seager with an RBI single to left off Chad Gerardo. Seager's at second, Utley's at third. Hit him. Coming in with that fastball, and it clipped Turner. So he'll go to first, and that'll load the bases. So now you got to deal with the lefty, Adrian Gonzalez. Remember, Brett Cecil had a chance to come in the game. He has not warmed up. We're not aware of any injury to Cecil, but he's in the bullpen, but hasn't been used in this game. There's that 2-seamer that catches the right elbow of Turner.
Good running fastball inside. Didn't want to get it in that far, but as a hitter, you're approaching the baseball to swing the bat, so your momentum's taking you there. By the time you try to recoil and get it out, that right elbow hangs in there just a little too long for Turner.
Still 1 out. Bases now loaded for Adrian Gonzalez. Gonzalez was intentionally walked in the 8th. He's 0 for 3. He's got a 4-game hit streak on the line. Fouled it back. The Blue Jays can ill afford to fall any further behind. They trail by 2. Looking ahead to the bottom of the 9th, it's Encarnacion, Smoke, and Tulowitzki, the scheduled hitters for the Blue Jays. Obviously, Floyd really pressing to save these runs. One and 2.
So big to keep it a 2-run ball game, so you just need 1 base runner to bring that tying run to the plate for the Blue Jays in the bottom of the 9th.
Gonzalez has struck out 27 times in 31 games. Kind of a high number for a contact hitter. He's been a good hitter his whole career. Gets a piece of it. Hanging back, looking for that breaking ball. 4 runs on 8 hits for the Dodgers, 2 runs on 4 hits for the Blue Jays. Offensively, they haven't managed to put too much together.
A little cheer going on in that Dodgers first base dugout.
Been blocked by Martin. The Blue Jays had that big game on Thursday night when they scored 12 runs on 15 hits. And that was the most runs they had scored since they had 9 runs on the 23rd of April against the Oakland A's here at Rogers Center. It's been a mystery. Where's the offense gone?
John Gibbons is wondering the same thing.
Gonzalez fighting with Gavin Floyd. He spoils that high fastball. The Dodgers have struck out 10 times this afternoon. They have not hit into a double play. Make it 11. And a big strikeout for Gavin Floyd.
Left-handed hitters just 2 for 19 now against Floyd, and what a great pitch. It looked like the cutter that time rather than the big curveball. He's also seen the high-powered fastball, but just a little cutter, takes a little off of it. Good downward movement. Gonzalez, big swing, but comes up empty.
Yasmani Grandal had the sac fly in the 8th. That tied it up at 2-2. For Grandal, his 8th RBI of the season. He and A.J. Ellis have been splitting the workload behind the plate. Grandal starting today for a second time in his 3-game series. Trace Thompson came in to score. That run is charged to Jesse Chavez. Chavez is responsible for Chase Utley at 3rd. Corey Seager at 2nd is the responsibility of Chad Gerardo. 2-1 now.
Another case of a catcher setting up away, but Gavin threw it middle in there. Russell had to come across his body. He's lubing up that glove right now, making that thing stick. Popped right out, but he still got the call from home plate umpire Chad Fairchild.
Two and two. Gavin Floyd entered the game 2nd and 3rd with 1 out, and then he hit Justin Turner to load the bases. He struck out Gonzalez, and now he's got Grandal with a 2-2 count. Got him. Gavin Floyd does a terrific job. He leaves the bases loaded, keeps it a 2-run ball game. We'll go to the bottom of the 9th. The big guns for the Blue Jays. Edwin Encarnacion, then Justin Smoke, followed by Troy Tulowitzki. The Dodgers lead by 2. Ross Stripling started for the Dodgers today in this rubber match of the 3-game series. And Joe, he was impressive over his 6 innings.
Well, he's excellent, and I think we saw what that no-hitter stuff was in his major league debut. He really mixed in that curveball, I thought, very effectively today, got it in the Blue Jays hitters' heads, and then he was still able to be very effective with that fastball, just around 91, 92, and the slider. Mixed his pitches very well and really halted that Blue Jays lineup most of the afternoon.
So the Blue Jays will face Kenley Jansen, who finished out the 8th inning. He got Jose Bautista on a soft liner to Chase Utley to end the 8th. Encarnacion will start things off. Edwin is 0 for 3 of the Blue Jays, as we mentioned, 2 runs on 4 hits. They managed a pair of hits in the 7th. Had a single in the 8th and Pilar's double in the 3rd. He came around to score the first run of the ball game. High and playable. Howie Kendrick circles into foul territory and makes the catch. 1 down, bottom of the 9th. Brett Cecil is throwing now, and it's really unusual. There's something unusual going on with Cecil. He doesn't appear to be injured.
You wonder maybe if something's going on that he was not available in this ball game, and now he's just getting some work in, maybe checking on something if there is an issue. I don't know, but it's an odd time to get him up if he's perfectly healthy, not having been used yet in this ball game.
Justin Smoak singled his last time up. He scored the 2nd Blue Jay run. The Blue Jays again had problems with inherited runners. 3 inherited runners scored today. They have now allowed 30 of 63 inherited runners to score. 47.5%. One and 2. Jansen 10 for 10 in save opportunities, and this is indeed a 4-out save opportunity. Got the final out of the 8th. Driven to left. That's going to drop and bounce for a ground rule double. Trace Thompson couldn't make a play on it as the ball hit the warning track in fair territory and bounced out of play. And Smoak continues to swing it. His 2nd hit of the afternoon, a ground rule double.
Well, Justin sliced it down that left field line, and it would continue to slice away from Thompson. He made a good effort diving for this baseball, but just missing it as it bounces into the seats down that left field line.
The Smoak's aboard, and Tulowitzki will step to the plate representing the tying run. That'll bring the life back into Rogers Center. Tulowitzki has faced Jansen 12 at bats. He's 3 for 12. He knows all about that cutter. Two quick strikes. It's 0-2.
That's the pitch right there that you're thinking Troy wants to jump on, because when you get scuffling as a hitter, we've seen Troy taking some strikes and then expanding the zone and swinging at balls. Now he's in a tough situation, down 0-2 to Jansen.
Fouled into the seats down the right side. Smoke with 2 more hits today. He's gone 11 for 26 on this homestand. That regular dose of at-bats has served him well.
He's been rubbing his neck since he got to second base. You wonder if he did something on that swing.
Tulowitzki behind 0-2.
Marvin Hudson again has slid over, this time to the middle of the field, so Utley can position himself.
Little looper into right. Puig has it measured, and he'll make the catch. 2 down. So Kevin Pillar, who's had a big series against the Dodgers, has another opportunity to do something dramatic. He had a 3-run home run in the 8th on Friday night. He's had 2 hits today. He doubled and scored the first Blue Jays run. He's 2 for 3 on the afternoon, and Pillar is hitting .303.
Well, so much so that YASMANI GRANDAL is going to pay a visit to Jansen on the mound, just making sure that they're on the same page here with the red hot hitting Pillar, representing the tying run at the plate here for the Blue Jays in the bottom of the 9th. He's really done a nice job of covering the whole strike zone. He's handled fastballs in, he's handled sliders away, and Kevin's talked about that front side being a little quieter now, and it's allowing those hands to work, get to the fastball in, but also allows that bat to be on plane and cover the sliders away. He has just been locked in here of late.
4 for 11 in the series. Kevin had the 3-run home run in the 8th inning on Friday off Joe Blanton. Then he had an RBI double in the 5th inning on Saturday afternoon. 2 for 3 this afternoon. Right on the outside corner.
See that cutter movement from Jansen, and it's right on the edge of the plate. You're not going to do much with that as a hitter, so Kevin is just making sure with Chad Fairchild that's as far as he's going to go out there, catching the outside corner. He needs to see if Jansen doesn't miss on the plate with something.
He had a good cut, tough pitch right on the outside corner. Pillar has had 11 hits in this homestand, including 7 extra base hits, and he's driven in 6. He'll take a base hit right now. 1-2, 2 outs. He strikes out. Jansen with the save. He's perfect, 11 for 11, and the Dodgers win the series 2-1. The Blue Jays scored just 2 runs on 5 hits. Jock Peterson a couple of home runs in the series.
Well, it's a tough break for the Blue Jays when Kevin Pillar singled back in the 7th inning. Justin Smoke scoring after that error in right field. The Blue Jays had gone up 2-1, but the bullpen woes are trickling back here for the Blue Jays when they just looked like maybe they are ironing out some of those wrinkles. They're unable to hold on to that lead again late in this ball game.
Well, the Blue Jays will head out on the road a little later. We'll go to San Francisco. Giants tomorrow night. Thanks for watching, folks. Dodgers win the series 2-1. Here's Blue Jays Central with Jamie Campbell and Greg Zahn.